Hello, everyone. We have new chapters for Night Light Hounds. And I didn't upload a chapter for review chapter for chapter 3 because I forgot. I, for some reason, thought that this manga was like monthly, and I completely forgot that there was a chapter. So my bad in that case, in that situation, because yeah, I completely forgot that this manga was not monthly. It's actually pretty weekly, and considering that we're having about 40 pages per chapter is absolutely insane. So you can understand my confusion. Hopefully though, hopefully after this chapter we will probably have 20. After this chapter we'll have 20-page chapters, so that's one thing to look forward to. Now, I want to say I love the pacing of this manga, because this manga, this chapter was about 28 pages long, and it felt like it was 40. Like I was halfway through the chapter, and I asked myself, how many pages does this chapter have? And I checked, and yeah, it had like 28. I was like around page 15, 16. So yeah, very good pacing, honestly, because there are some chapters that are 20-ish pages long, but they don't feel that long. They feel very short. It's like the complaint that a lot of people have with Chainsaw Man and with Kaiju number 8, where people are like, hey, I read it, it's so fast. Yeah, it kind of feels that way. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about chapter 3 and chapter 4 again, because there's a lot of info. So chapter 3, we got some information about how the family works, and this vampire family specifically has 50-50. It has like non-vampires and vampires. Dorothea is the vampire and Leo is the human. And I really enjoy that these two people have like their own factions and their own followers, which I really expect. And I hope that we can get some very crazy Peaky Blinders / vampires type shit. I hope that we can get like mob battles, not mob battles. Maybe we could get like mob storylines of like betrayal and like, you know what I mean? Like a mob story. Right now I'm watching The Penguin, and oh my god, I hope this manga becomes like the manga version of Peaky Blinders, The Penguin, and like The Sopranos. You know what I mean? Imagine those three, but with the vampires. Oh my god, it has a lot of. I really hope that it turns into something like that, because it's giving me those vibes from last chapter and this one. Because last chapter we were told that Leo and Dorothea are both candidates to take over the family, the familia, and yeah, they're both doing like their own things. And in chapter 4, we kind of see that more like up close and personal, because Leo told Dorothea that he would give her faction, the like wine. And then when they get there, it's like, yeah, we have no wine. He's just fucking with you guys. That was hilarious. I really like that. I really enjoyed it. And this new character, he's kind of weird. And I like that the characters from Leo's side are very weird. Because, for example, that's one thing that I really appreciate about this manga, is that it's showing us, not telling us that much, that Leo, the humans, are kind of more deranged than Dorothea, who's like the vampire faction. Because in the last chapter, Leo had a man mauled by a lion, and Dorothea was like, "Really, bro? Really? Right in front of my cupcake?" Or I don't know what that meme says, but really, right in front of my cupcake. And he's just kind of deranged, and like, Orca, who is part of Leo's faction, is kind of insane. He's kind of crazy. And then we have like Dorothea, who's pretty chill and relaxed, even when she knows that Jimmy is lying. She's very calm and collected. And then you have Hawk, who is also kind of calm and collected. So yeah, everybody seems pretty calm and collected, on like very chill on like the vampire side, while on the human side, they kind of cuckoo. So yeah, that's that's kind of the thing that I noticed, which I really appreciate the fact that the manga is showing us, less not telling us so much, I guess. Because there was a line from Jimmy where he's like, "Yeah, I guess vampires aren't the only things that are crazy about this town." I'm like, haha. Yes, Jimmy, that is true. That is very true. So yeah, that happened in chapter 3. And chapter 4, we get a little bit more insight in, and I really like this mystery of finding out who is and who isn't a vampire. Because again, if I've learned anything from Twilight, if they sparkle and they're very pale and they have a lot of foundation on their face, then they're a vampire. But I don't know if vampires typically have. I imagine vampires would have like a paler skin. But granted, this is a manga and it is in black and white, so it would be pretty tough to portray pale skin in manga because, you know, it's kind of hard. So yeah, I guess that would be like the one thing that I guess would give off if somebody is a vampire or not, if they have pale skin. Again, I don't know if that's true for all vampires. I don't know vampire lore, or if it's just like a Twilight thing, but yeah. So I really like the fact that the author is using what would be for others a disadvantage as an advantage, because even though it might seem like a disadvantage to not be able to portray vampires correctly, it's actually a pretty good advantage because it gives the readers a sense of like, how do you tell if somebody is or isn't a vampire? Because Jimmy states that Kay told him that vampires heal very quickly and they have a very good regen factor. So he starts thinking that like the dude like Hawk and the other guy, they have the brand, but Orca didn't have it. But again, the other two dudes had the brand in their arms, so you wouldn't really notice if it's like on their face or not, because Orca could have it, but like on another part of his body, and it could be visible. So yeah, that's the one thing. And I really liked that after we were given that info, when Jimmy goes looking for like vampires, he ends up getting kidnapped. Well, not kidnapped, but he ends up getting jumped by an actual vampire. And I like that his wound begins to regenerate, or is kind of regenerated. So that just goes to show that if you hurt a vampire, it will regenerate. So pretty good stuff there. I like the designs for the vampires, how like they completely just deform, and yeah, he looks pretty cool. And what I state though is I just now realized what the brand on Jimmy's face, stands for. It's LF, Lakeside Fellas. I just now got it. Like 4 chapters later, I just now understood that it's an L and an F. I thought it was like a weird ass symbol. I said, all right, do you, man? It's kind of a weird symbol, but go ahead. Until now, I just realized, oh, okay. It's LF, Lakeside Fellas. So there you go. If you guys didn't realize that, that's a little piece of information that I just now found out. So yeah, and that's basically it. So we're going to have to wait until the next chapter. There could be 2 options. Number 1, Jimmy is handed over to Orca, and that begins the war against both factions. Number 2, this vampire wants to work alongside Jimmy because he's tired of Orca's abuses, and this vampire ends up screwing up with Orca, who would end up being a human. That could be another option. Or the third option is, Jimmy is able to escape, and Kay and Lily are around there and just end up saving him and slowly end up taking down vampires. I want to see some good vampire hunting. Like some good old-fashioned vampire hunting. I want to see like some Hellsing references up in this. So yeah. That's 2 chapters. Very good. Very enjoyable. I'm enjoying this manga a lot. And the art is spectacular. What can I say? There is a panel where Jimmy is like up front and like kind of scared, and then like the background is blurred. That is some levius shit. You know what I mean? That is something that happened a lot in Levius, where like the background was blurred. Oh my god, I love that. It's so good. I love this author, and I love the art from this author. Really good. Also, and just to finish up talking about the art, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but Jimmy kind of looks a little bit younger, because in chapter 1 and 2 he did look kind of older. He did look 20-ish kind of, but I think he's like 14, 15 years old. He's like in his teen years, but he looked 20ish. And I think the manga could change the design to make him look a lot, because he looks a lot younger. He looks a lot more like a lot younger. He doesn't look as old as he did in like chapter 1 and 2. So that's one thing. I don't know if the design changed to make him look younger or something, but yeah, I don't know if I'm just tripping, because he does look younger. Like his eyes are rounder and like bigger. His factions aren't as like thin. They're kind of like a little bit roundish, and he is a lot shorter. But maybe I just might be saying things. So anyway, give me your opinions on this chapter, and I'll see you guys next time. So bye bye.